I think for me, one of the hardest things about growing up is realizing how your parents weren't as perfect as you thought they were when you were a kid, or you were just younger in general. Because as a kid, you're looking up to your parents as like your guardians, like they can do no wrong. They, whenever I have a question, they give me an answer. They know what's best for me, all that type of stuff. But as you get older, especially after like you graduate high school and maybe even after college and you're in the real world and you're working and you're paying bills and you're going through all life's emotions, all the things like you don't deal with when you're in school. You start to realize that, like, how did my parents do this? How did they figure out all this, make it all work while also raising me at the same time? And you quickly realize that they probably didn't really know what they were doing. Like most parents probably don't have a plan in place when it comes to this type of thing. It's like they're just making up as they go. They're just winging it, just like everyone else. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are some responsible adults out there that have things figured out before they have kids, and just things laid out for them. But I think most of us we weren't really that fortunate when it came to our parents. And you get older, and it's just like you realize, like, man, when I was a kid, I was giving my parents like a whole bunch of like, you're a teenager, you think you know better than your parents and you have all the answers. And then you're out in the world and it's your turn. And you're like, man, I feel all of a sudden you feel so bad for the things you might have been putting your parents through because it's like you had no idea what they were dealing with besides just raising you. And as a kid or as a teenager, you think the world is so much smaller and easier than what it actually is. This also makes me think about those kids who as soon as they turn 18, they leave home and they get their own place, or they try to get their own place. They go in the real world because they don't want to be with their parents anymore. It makes me really think about those kids. I used to be jealous of the kids that could make it when I was, around that age. I was like, man, that's crazy. You finally get to leave home, you have your own space, and you don't have to worry about your parents bothering you. But then I quickly realized that, like, I actually kind of feel bad for them because just having your parents kick you out at 18 or running out the door as soon as you turn 18 is, for most people, isn't going to end well. Especially around that age, man. I remember like when I was 18, 19, around that age, I was not, my frame of mind was not as good as it was now. I didn't know what was going on. So I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad my parents didn't kick me out as soon as I graduated high school. Obviously, they made me get a job and work, but I wanted to work. I wanted my own money. But if I got kicked out at that age, I would have been in a world of trouble. Who knows where I would have been these days, man. I'm thankful for my parents for that at least. Anyway, this just was like a stupid like thought that I had while I was reflecting on some things, and I figured why not just put it in a video. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching. See